What is up, guys? We are back for another review. Today we're going to be looking at Tony Heish's Delivering Happiness, a path to profits, passion and purpose. This book is written by Tony Heish. Okay, he is the CEO of Zappos.com. It's an online shoe and apparel retailer. It's one of the biggest, probably the biggest online. Amazon has bought them out though. And it's looking at Tony Heish's life, his background, who he was, what he's done, and where he's going. And he then, after introducing himself and what his whole background is, he'll introduce his management philosophy, which is broken down into 3 parts in this book. It's the profits and passion, profits, passion, and purpose. So he's trying to communicate his management style into out of this book. The first part, profits, is basically talking about identifying an opportunity that is valuable, can make money, and executing on it. He gives a few examples of his life, what he's found, the opportunities, and his execution against it, the failures and the successes, and what he's learned from them. The second part is passion and profits and passion. He's saying that once you've identified these profitable opportunities and executed on them, you then need to further execute on them by focusing on them, concentrating on them, and you do that by finding passionate, motivated people to do this. And the third part of the book is profits, passion, and purpose. So once you've found the opportunity, once you've concentrated resources that are passionate and motivated for that opportunity, identifying the purpose for those individuals or those teams, and why they would actually be pursuing profits and passion. Okay, so it's the purpose part, it's the why. And for Tony, he sees the why as being all about happiness. He says that deep down we're just basically motivated by happiness. We want to be happy, and this is what's created such success for Zappos. So the purpose, and he sees purpose as happiness, and he gives some scientific studies, not really, on the benefits of happiness in the workplace and how it's helped Zappos and his management philosophy around how he manages the people within Zappos. We're not going to talk too much about these 3 sections in the book. Read it for that, okay? That's a great reason. But if the real takeaway from this book, the real value that I got while reading it, is not thinking about what is a good opportunity, how do I execute on it, how do I get people to execute on it with me, and how do I keep people happy while executing on it. The real benefit for this book, and the real reason you should actually just buy this book and read it, is to see the importance of brand and culture. This book does a great job of highlighting the importance of brand and culture within a company. And you can extrapolate that further into exercise of self-awareness, okay? You can look at this as saying, what is my own culture? So let's just talk not about business, let's talk about personal development first, then we'll translate it into business. But you can say, okay, what is my brand? What do I persuade into the world? What does the world see me as? What do I want to communicate out into the world as my brand? Okay, think about that. List what your brand is, and see if that's something congruent with who you want to be. The next thing is culture. Look at your own culture. Are you a fun person? Are you introvert, extrovert? Are you outgoing? Do you have open and honest relationships? Do you gossip a lot? It doesn't have to be positive things, okay? It doesn't just have to say, oh well, this is the best things I'm about and this is my culture. Write out your culture, who you actually are. And then say, is this someone that's congruent with an image that I have of myself? And if it is, that's great, keep executing on it. And if it's not, you need to be like, okay, that's fine, don't beat yourself up about it, but be like, okay, what are the steps that I need to take to change this, right? So brand and culture are a great exercise in self-awareness. We're going to do a book from Gary Vaynerchuk called Crushing It. But Gary always just focuses on self-awareness, and he's just like, self-awareness, dude, self-awareness, He never tells you what to do about self-awareness, he just tells you it's important. That's not a pot shot at him or anything like that. You need to be smart enough to be like, okay, if Gary is saying be self-aware, what are the self-awareness things that I can be doing, okay? You don't need him to tell you what those things are. The fact that someone as established as him and as credible as him is telling you to be self-aware, and that's a key to being successful, that should be enough for you to be like, okay, Gary says it, now let me see how I can do it. And then going back from personal development into business, look at the brand and culture of the company that you run or that you're working for or the team that you're in. So you can start, obviously, I've found that different teams have different cultures even within the same organization. So you can look at your team's culture, your team's brand. How does your team perform? How do they operate? You can start to ask your team members, hey, what is our culture? Right? Get that list out. Get everyone to give you that list and see if it's very congruent or there's a bit of a misalignment, and see how you can align that better. But a big thing in this book is seeing that a company that has a great brand and a great culture execute on it, and having so much success from that execution. You need to realize that that is a huge thing. That's the biggest thing. Brand and culture. It's about organizational behavior. It's about organizational structure. It's about how your team and your organization handles things. You might say that you're an organization that's hiring top performers, very athletic, very, I don't know, X, Y, and Z. But when you see, okay, if you're very athletic, what's the last time you did sports events with your teams? If you're very customer service orientated, what's a great example of great customer service that came out of your team? How often does that come out? If you give great customer service and it's one of your cultural principles, how often do you do this? Do you do it once in a while and you just have two stories for it, or is it consistent? Is it all the time? And then think about that, guys. Look at your career. Look at the culture of the organization that you're working with or running. Understand the organizational structure. Understand the organizational behavior. Look at their culture. Write it down. Look at their brand. Analyze these things and be like, is this something I want to be working towards? Is this a place that I want to be at or not? If you want to be at it, great, carry on and execute on those even harder. If not, that's great still, because then you can be like, well, do I want to change this? Do I want to put up with it? Or do I want to leave? And those are all great exercises, right? So this book, you really want it not for how to find an opportunity, not to see how to execute on an opportunity, not to think of, oh, happiness is our purpose, blah, blah, blah. That's cool, but I feel like that's surface level shit. The real reason you want this book is simply brand and culture, guys. This is a great case study of what can happen when you have excellent brand, when you have excellent culture. So think about it, have a read through the book. I'll put some resources down in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, give me a shout. I'll be sure to reply to you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.